Hey guys, we're here with the ITL Season 5 semifinals going on right now between Sheer Force and GypsyKing, taking on each other for a spot to play Scoot in the ITL Season 5 finals. But I am not here by myself, of course. I am here with my good buddy Sébastien.
Hello!
Yo, we made it.
Alright, we're in the battle. Gypsy put up his web and on a nice mental herb.
Yeah, we're
unseen item, but still a good prep for this taunt Whimsicott.
I think you cut out a little bit, but what I'm going to assume you said was mental herb was a good idea.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So Gypsy able to get both rocks and webs up first turn, which is good. Trevor making a really good play, switching into a Spirit Shackle to become. This is going really fast. And he's going for oh my gosh! An Intimidate returned at 72. That's
definitely Choice Banded Beware. And Trevor going for the normal type attack on the ghost Pokemon. So that's pretty nice.
That
was a pretty good call.
Does Beware get scrappy?
No, it doesn't.
Oh shit! Bad mon, to be honest. All right.
So yeah, bite this damage. It's definitely Choice Banded, and that's considering its max defense. It's max defense. Oh wait, it's not max defense. Might just be max HP, or even maybe a little
calc assist. I'm just gonna go ahead and guess everything for the rest of the match.
All right.
Okay, so we got Beware versus Quillfish here on turn 7. Webs and rocks are up or both of them for Gypsy, and so far it's looking pretty well for Gypsy. But his Quillfish has taken pretty significant damage, but nonetheless. We are going to see some real tough competition here. This is the semifinals, of course. Sheer Force beating you in the quarterfinals, playing Gypsy, who had a first round bye. Winner of this game will go on to play Scoot, who just recently beat Aki in the semifinals from the other conference. Very interesting game on that end too, but we're not here to talk about that. All right, so Gypsy goes ahead and switches back into his Decidueye. I'm believing that Beware to be Choice Banded, just like we are. But Trevor makes a switch out into his Bronzong, which could have been a good play depending on if he was predicting a Poison Jab or other poison move from the Quillfish. But right now, it looks like Gypsy is in the advantage because of that super effective Spirit Shackle that can hit the Bronzong for some good damage.
Exactly. So Gypsy didn't want to risk his Hazard Stacker right away because he could have died to the Beware. Even though he was faster, he could have maybe got one round of Toxic Spikes or Spikes. I think that those hazards are going to be important for Gypsy to win because unless this Mew has the Fog, which it can possibly have, it's not gonna be. His hazards are here to stay, basically. So Gypsy going for the Sword Stance here on the Stealth Rocks Bronzong, so definitely a threat right away. I believe unless these Zoroark come in on a Spirit Shackle, there's a Pokemon that's going to drop here. Or maybe the Beware, but even Brave Bird could be a thing. So depending on Gypsy's set, which I highly doubt he has the Fog since he brought like a ton of stacking options. He should be 3 attack with Sword Stance.
Yeah, it looks like Gypsy's just going to go ahead and deal with the rocks on his side unless he wants to allow Trevor to defog away his hazards. But for now, it's looking like this is going to be a very hazard-heavy battle. Now, if Gypsy has the right moveset, Gypsy might straight up win right here. Sword Stance Decidueye hits like a truck. Ghost being super effective on the Mew and the Bronzong. And if he has Brave Bird for coverage, there goes the Whimsicott and the Beware as well. So this will definitely be an interesting game. So he reveals the Leaf Blade, not just straight up one-shot.
Oh, that was the Zoroark.
Gotcha. Just kidding. It's the Zoroark. It says Mew is dead. Mew is not dead. I was gonna say, like, I would expect Mew to at least live on, like, at least live it. But yeah, Zoroark's gonna drop. So
if he has Brave Bird here, it's all gonna depend if the Gudra can take the hit or not, because that might just be a 6-0.
Yeah, Gudra or Mew, depending as well. If Mew is bulky enough, it could probably take a hit, but it probably cannot take a Spirit Shackle. Never mind.
Okay, why does it say the Mew is
dead? The Mew is not dead. For anybody,
it's not dead.
Yeah, I think that's a glitch on Showdown's part because the Zoroark died, but the Zoroark was pretending to be a Mew that died, so Mew is not dead.
So it's a 6v4, 6v5 right now, correct?
I'm actually gonna go ahead and type that in the chat. I want to double check and make sure I'm not going crazy. All right, but nonetheless, Swords Dance Decidueye is going to be a threat for Trevor's team as of right now, especially if it carries Brave Bird coverage, because that's going to be able to hit the Beware and the Whimsicott. Yes.
Okay, it is alive.
Yes, the Mew is alive. So Brave Bird.
So I highly doubt the Leaf Blade will kill the Beware because of the coat. Exactly, it does 33. That's insane. So Gypsy does not have the Brave Bird here. Maybe a last move Roost.
Possibly.
But yeah, since he set it up his zone rocks after he got stacked a lot, I highly doubt the Mew has Defog now. Just because it wouldn't make sense to set up his own rocks, then defog them away later. So I really don't think the Mew has the defog at this point. So Trevor is going to be stuck with the webs and the rocks on his side of the field. But who knows if the Bronzong has Trick Room to counter that with the Choice Banded Beware.
That would be interesting. On the bright side, however, though, Trevor's team isn't super weak to rocks at all. I mean, nothing really appreciates the 12%, but at least he doesn't have like a fire type or a bug type or a flying type in the back where that's just rocks are going to be very significant.
Exactly. At this point, I think the 12 are going to be important on the Mew and the Goodra, since Goodra has no recovery unless it has rest. So I still think the rocks are a solid option just to chip down the Mew that can't maybe come in on a 2-hit KO from something.
Yep.
And yeah, same for the Goodra. So
breaks potential sash. Whimsicott isn't necessarily the most sash heavy mon, but I guess running Focus Sash Whimsicott is not completely unheard of. Everything else is pretty uncommon to see Focus Sash on. Besides maybe the Zoroark, but that
it's important to notice that the Whimsicott did lead, so maybe it is Focus Sash. So well, for now it's the sash is broken if it's coming in on rock. So there you go.
All we saw from Whimsicott was Taunt and Toxic, I believe.
Yeah, all we saw from Whimsicott's Taunt.
So potentially Moonblast, potentially Giga Drain. After all, Gypsy does have a Suicune, and Trevor, I don't believe he drafted an Electric type.
I'm not
Trevor's
sure.
draft off the top of my head.
I don't think
Whimsicott might be his only super effective stab against that Suicune.
Yeah.
So possibly Giga Drain could be a moveset on that thing. Speaking of Pokemon that didn't come, Gypsy with a very interesting decision not to bring Tapu Lele, arguably one of the best mons in the format. Why do you think he did that?
The Bronzong on Trevor's part is definitely a threat. The Mew that could potentially take advantage of the Psychic terrain if it's a setup Mew. Maybe hold him back from bringing the Tapu Lele, so that might be the options. Trevor doesn't have a ton of priority on his team. I believe he has the Zoroark, which is now gone, and the Kabutops, which he did not bring. But I believe the 4 Owls here was ready for the Kabutops. So maybe a good decision on Trevor's part. But yeah, Gypsy not bringing the Lele makes sense, considering that maybe Mew could have potentially took advantage of that, and he has Bronzong as a switch in almost every time. So
reasonable. Lando-t still being one of the very prominent threats in the draft format as well. In addition, I believe Lando-t is Gypsy's Z-Mon. If you have not been paying attention to the ITL, we only allow offensive Z moves, and I believe we have a Landorus versus Mew in terms of Z-Mon matchup. So Gypsy's going to go ahead and switch out into the Quillfish as Trevor makes a switch out into the Whimsicott. Now
I wonder if Trevor has anything to KO this Quillfish. Maybe Trevor will just go for a taunt to prevent the Toxic Spikes, which could be a problem for the Mew, or even the Goodra. So I believe Toxic Spike would be a good play, but obviously he has taunt and he doesn't have the Mental Herb on the Quillfish. But does he try to pick up the KO here, or does he go for the taunt? And it's the same with Gypsy. Does he go for the Poison Jab if he has it, or does he go for his Hazard? Yeah,
this is definitely a very mind-gamey turn, because if Trevor doesn't want it, Trevor could prevent Hazards right here by clicking Taunt. But in the scenario where Gypsy decides to kill the Whimsicott, preventing Hazards isn't going to do anything, because you have a taunted Quillfish that just killed your Whimsicott, and you're down to 4 Mons versus his 6. In addition, if Trevor predicts the Poison Jab coming from the Quillfish, he could make a switch out into the Bronzong and be completely immune to that. And that it does look like
this is exactly what he does. And Gypsy sets up his spikes on the potential taunt. I still think that was a good play from Trevor, because if he loses his Whimsicott, the Suicune becomes such a problem to deal with. Maybe he has taunt, maybe not Encore, since he already revealed the taunt, but yeah, without the Whimsicots, we could become a problem. So I still think Trevor made a solid play, but I think Gypsy is in a really solid position here because of this prediction and starts to set up all his hazards.
Exactly. Gypsy easily outspeeds this Bronzong, no problem, unless this Bronzong is carrying Trick Room. Could have potentially set up another spike, but he's actually going to go ahead and make a switch out into the Cobalion, who's going to take a critical Psychic that's going to do 61% to the Cobalion. An unfortunate crit that's going to do some massive damage to that Cobalion. Now,
yeah, now makes the Psychic a tier with KO, so that was an unfortunate crit. And the Cobalion's not a very offensive. Well, it's a very offensive Pokemon because of its ability to set up, but it only has like 90 base attack and Spatak, and Bronzong is pretty defensive. So I'm not sure the amount of damage that this Cobalion will be able to do to the Bronzong in return. But yeah, definitely the ability to 2-hit KO here. For Trevor is really nice.
I imagine a close combat is a 3-hit KO, but even if you get to -1 SpDef, then another Psychic is definitely killing this Cobalion. So you're really only going to accomplish maybe 40% to this Bronzong. That's a hard maybe.
Yeah, that's if he's SpDef, and we do believe he's SpDef because of the potential Lele, but yeah.
So this is definitely an interesting position for both Trevor and Gypsy, both in with Steel types. Psychic and Fighting being neutral against the other two. So this is actually kind of an interesting predicament. Perhaps Gypsy will want to Volt Switch out and make a pivot into something that could take the hit from Bronzong, maybe something like Suicune, or potentially Landorus. Trevor hasn't necessarily revealed whether or not he is Levitate or Heat Proof, but he is most likely Levitate.
Because of the Landorus.
Yeah, Gypsy has that very threatening Landorus with that potential for Z-Fly. All Landorus can really do to Bronzong is click knockoff and do superpower again for like 40%.
Exactly.
So Levitate would make sense on Trevor's part, but we don't explicitly know whether or not it is Levitate or Heat Proof yet.
Exactly. I'm also really curious on why Gypsy is preserving his Shuckle. That could have been a switch-in instead of the Quillfish the previous turn, just to sack it. So I'm curious if he has another plan in mind, because we only saw Sticky Web and rocks from the Shuckle. So I'm curious if he has some sort of infestation, encore, some sort of crap, or maybe he's waiting for the Goodra in order to deal some sort of damage to the opponents. I'm really curious on why Gypsy is preserving his Shuckle, if there's a particular reason behind it. And I'm sure it's Gypsy, so there's definitely a particular reason on why he's preserving it.
Crap is a good way to describe Shuckle. No.
Yeah.
Typically, you'll see more support moves on Shuckle, things like Sticky Web and Rocks, perhaps Toxic and Infestation to prevent them from switching out and just let the Toxic whittle them down. Encore knockoff. Typically things like that. Shuckle is the exact opposite of an offensive mon. And Gypsy's just going to go ahead and click Close Combat. He's going to click Close Combat, which does 45% to the Bronzong, bringing it back up to 61 after leftovers, and Bronzong is going to be able to kill with another Psychic after the
pretty much confirming. Yeah, pretty much confirming it is SpDef Bronzong here.
Yes. It was pretty much to be expected, SpDef Bronzong, but this is 100% confirms it. I think Gypsy knows that by now, and I think he makes a switch into something like this.
Wow, okay. That's very surprising.
That's an interesting decision.
Maybe knowing that Bronzong is SpDef by this calc, he knows that he maybe has the potential to set up or click knockoff if he's banded or whatever.
Right.
Maybe he knows he can take an HP Ice from this thing, because we saw obviously it had Psychic, so it had some, it was a special attacker, or it could be mixed. So I'm definitely thinking HP Ice from this Bronzong is a possibility. So he either starts to set up here, or is banded and click knockoff, and he knows he can take, if he sets up, he knows he can take the HP Ice.
He knows he can freely click knockoff as well, because Trevor has revealed leftovers to be Bronzong's item, so we know it's not a Culverberry. So I think if you're Gypsy right here, if you have something like a Bandit or a Scarf Landorus, something that doesn't set up, obviously he doesn't have rocks on this Landorus, I think you click knockoff right here. It's the safest play to make. Even if he wants to make a switch out into Beware, you have Decidueye, which could be sacked off at this point to an Ice Punch, or you could potentially go out into Shuckle and sack that off and play accordingly. Or even carry the potential for Z-Fly if he isn't choice, if he's just some kind of offensive Landorus with
just
maybe like
extremely
Expert Belt. But we haven't necessarily seen anything from this Landorus. This is the first time it has hit the field, so we don't know anything about this Landorus' set. And Landorus is a very versatile mon. Trevor's going to go ahead and make a switch out into the Whimsicott, get the -1 speed drop from the...
Yeah, he does go for knockoff.
Knockoff Trevor's
Yachi Berry, so it was not Focus Sash.
So I'm assuming Yachi Berry for the Suicune.
Potentially, yeah. I think that makes sense.
I don't know the rest of Gypsy's team off the top of my head, but I don't believe he has an Ice type.
No, he does not have an Ice type. We should know because we fought him twice this season.
Well, that's a good point. In theory, we should know because we're the two people who lost to Gypsy.
Yeah.
Gypsy's there because we lost.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't know.
But very curious that he goes into Whimsicott. I thought maybe going for staying in with Bronzong and going for HP Ice. I don't know what he wants to do with Bronzong for the rest of the game. Obviously, it's a presence for Quillfish, but Quillfish is getting low and it's going to get killed by pretty much anything at this point. So I thought that maybe Trevor could have stayed in and not risked the Whimsicott because, like we mentioned, he does need it for the Suicune. So yeah, very interesting decision.
Unless Trevor isn't Levitate after all, and he was fearing an Earthquake, and he wants to go into Whimsicott to get that hard resist, but I highly doubt that.
Yeah, I highly doubt that's the case.
Yeah.
But now, if Trevor is if Gypsy is Z-Fly, the Whimsicott is slower than this Landorus, so that's definitely threatening. A potential Prankster Toxic or Prankster Tailwind could happen here just to sack off the Whimsicott, but like we said like 3 times, I don't think that's the best of ideas.
If Gypsy is Z-Fly here, which he could potentially be, he has not necessarily revealed any item yet. He's obviously not Leftovers. Could still be Choice, could be Z-Move, we don't know for sure yet. But he's obviously not Leftovers. So there is a potential for a Z-Fly right here, but do you think using Z-Fly right now to kill the Whimsicott is better than saving it to be able to kill the Beware later?
If his plan is to win with Suicune and he think he can win with Suicune even though there's a Mew, and yeah, the Mew could be stall breaking Mew as well. I think you should go for it, but like we see here, there's a Prankster Memento happening. So that tells me the Mew is seriously setup oriented, and at the end of the day, it might have been a good idea to preserve the Lando to get a massive amount of hit off. If he's, let's say, Calm Mind 3 attack or Calm Mind sub 2 attack, in which case he doesn't have a recovery. So with the webs and the potential to set up, keeping the big hit off on Landorus is a really solid choice.
I agree. I like the switch out into Quillfish there. Obviously, it would have threatened out the Whimsicott with the potential for a Poison Jab. Whimsicott most likely clicking either Giga Drain or Moonblast there in terms of an offensive standpoint. But clicking Memento here potentially gains Trevor some momentum, depending on if he thinks he can set up now that this Quillfish is severely weakened. However, he doesn't have a lot of options for setup outside of Mew, unless he has Sword Dance Beware, which would be pretty incredible, but Beware is slower than the likes of Landorus and Decidueye. And
Curse Kutra could be possible. I think if he doesn't go for game with Mew or Kutra right here, I think his only way to beat the Suicune is going to be a stall breaking Mew with like Taunt and something to wear it down, because Suicune is looking extremely threatening here.
I agree. Trevor's running out of options to deal with Suicune. Trevor, I don't think drafted very many good options for Suicune in the first place, but Suicune could potentially just sit in front of Trevor for the game and just wait for Trevor to eventually be whittled down enough to die. Or Trevor's not Trevor.
Yeah. I've experienced it myself, and by watching Gypsy's game, I know Suicune was a big problem for this, for all his opponents. Like, Suicune has been a problem for Gypsy's opponent all season from the moment he traded it for it. So I'm sure it's going to be the exact same case in the semifinals. So I wouldn't be curious if Suicune would win the game here, because it's been a problem for a lot of people that faced him.
But nonetheless, we have a 5-4 lead currently on turn 16 for Gypsy. Mew could potentially come in here, threaten out the Quillfish with the Psychic, unless Gypsy just wants to sack off the Quillfish and maybe set up another layer of spikes. For example, knowing that Quillfish has basically served its purpose, it's not going to be able to take another hit from the Beware, the Mew, likely not the Goodra, and definitely not the Bronzong, now that the Bronzong has revealed to carry Psychic. So this will definitely be an interesting play for Trevor that could make or break the rest of the match. I think if I were Trevor, I would go into Mew, assuming that Mew is a setup type of mon, and pray for the best at this point. If you carry Psychic, Ice Beam, Giga Drain, or something
or Thunderbolt,
for the,
something like that,
something for the Suicune, maybe with like Nasty Plot and a Z move or something like that. I think Trevor could be in a decent position to take the W right here because naturally, Trevor's Mew is faster than the rest of Gypsy's team now that Cobalion has dropped.
Yeah, the option for no matter what comes in, the option for the Quillfish right here is either to stay in and set up his hazards, which he can, obviously depending on his spin and the Mew spin, which he possibly can. Either he clicks Thunder Wave or Taunt. If I'm Gypsy and I have Taunt and the Mew or the Goodra comes in, I think that's my play to make, because you obviously don't want them to set up. Or if you feel risky, you set up a layer of Toxic Spikes or another layer of Spikes. But I think in terms of hazards, maybe the Toxic Spikes would be better if the Mew doesn't come in. But if he has Taunt, I think he clicks Taunt, or he switches out just to readjust to what comes in. And it is the Goodra that comes in. So if I'm Gypsy, I think I click Taunt here. If he has it. It'd be interesting to see if he has Destiny Bond as well.
Now, would Leftovers pop right here because he switched in on hazards after the turn is over? So if Trevor were to carry Leftovers, would it have popped by now? I don't know.
Yes, we would have
That's
saw.
like a technicality thing.
Yeah, we would have saw that he would be Leftovers, so it's not Leftovers.
So it's not Leftovers. That's the potential for Assault Vest, which is probably the most common item to carry on Goodra.
Yeah.
But there's
Resto Chesto could be a
there's nothing
possibility.
saying he can't be Resto Chesto. Potentially Specs or Ban. Scarf Goodra, you never know.
Yeah, you never know. I fought Gypsy. I fought Gypsy in a mock game, and he did carry Scarf Goodra his own. So maybe Trevor stole a page on Gypsy's book. So we never know.
I think if there's definitely one way you're doing it, it's to steal pages from Gypsy's book.
Yeah, if you do that, you're in a pretty good shape.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
But I'm curious. I'm really curious to see if the Goodra is indeed cursed and what this Quillfish will want to do based on that.
I agree. AV Goodra right here does pretty well depending on the coverage. It'll be able to wall break a lot of the mons, except for really Suicune. I imagine an Assault Vest Thunderbolt is not going to do a lot to Suicune. To the point where Suicune could very easily rest that off, set up some Calm Minds, and really be a threat for Trevor. So
exactly.
I'm interested to see how the rest of this game goes. We're at turn 17. It's currently 5-4 in Gypsy's favor. Gypsy's just going to shoot.
He goes for explosion.
Okay, that works.
Oh my god. Oh, and we do see the Leftovers. Wow, that's interesting.
Haha.
Why didn't we see that?
You got your mechanics wrong.
Yeah.
So Goodra revealed to be Leftovers and carry Thunderbolt, while Quillfish decides to go Boom and makes this game 4-4. Very interesting play from Gypsy's part, being able to get a nice 50% on that Goodra after Quillfish has essentially served its purpose. Really good play on Gypsy's part. I actually kind of like that play, not gonna lie.
And yeah, it did a lot of damage, and I think he has a pretty free knockoff here. It will kill the Goodra from this point. It will kill two knockoff will kill the Bronzong. Knockoff would knock off Mew's item unless it has a Z move, and he has the Shuckle Sack if Beware comes in. So yeah, obviously goes for knockoff here, kills the Goodra, and I would have thought that maybe Goodra would have Dragon Tail, and like I said, unless it's Stallbreaker Mew, which it honestly possibly can because he didn't brought it on Memento. He has no way to beat Suicune at this point, but I'm thinking that it's Stallbreaker Mew now that he didn't bring it in on the Memento.
Yep, I agree. So just Mew, Beware, and Bronzong left after that Goodra drops to a knockoff. It is currently 4-3 in Gypsy's favor. Just like that, Trevor tied it up, and immediately after, or I'm not going to say Trevor really Gypsy tied it up.
He decides what happens in this match. He decides when his own mom died.
It's like, this is going to die now. 4-3 in Gypsy's favor right now. Trevor not having a lot of options to deal with the Suicune. In comes the Mew. It's going to take damage from hazards, bring it down to about 3/4 of its health left, and take the -1 speed from those sticky webs as well. Now, here comes a decision for Gypsy. Do you think he clicks knockoff here and tries to scout to see if Mew is Zemon, and that's no.
No, he decided to sack the Shuckle. I think that's a solid play.
Yep.
He probably knew he couldn't kill Mew with the knockoff. The Mew doesn't reveal leftovers, so maybe a Colbur Berry to take the knockoff, or maybe straight up a Z move. We've seen the previous game that the first game in the season where Trevor fought Gypsy, he had Tectonic Rage on his Mew. So that's going to be interesting to see its item, but it's not leftovers. So.
Yeah, definitely not.
I think that's a good sack on Gypsy's part. I don't think Shuckle does much here.
I think Shuckle...
And it's going to be interesting to see if this Mew is indeed a stall breaker Mew, because if the Mew has taunt here, the Mew clicks taunt in a heartbeat.
I think a stall breaker Mew carrying Ice Beam is a little bit strange. I think this is more like maybe like a Roost 3 attacks type of Mew. Calm Mind is...
And it is Calm.
And just like that, Trevor is locked into Calm Mind from the Encore on the Shuckle. Now, Gypsy might have to play very carefully here, because if the Encore ends and Trevor will essentially be at either plus 3/+3 or +4/+4, Mew could potentially do some serious damage, but Gypsy's going to make a good play and go into the Calm Mind.
Out.
Or go into the on the Calm Mind.
It is a physically offensive Lando, so solid play by Gypsy. Won't care about the Calm Mind here. He still keeps the Shuckle as the sack, so solid play overall. I'm really surprised Trevor did not bring this this Pokemon on the Memento. I thought that was an interesting decision, but yeah, now he's going to be locked into Calm Mind, and I'm assuming that 2 Earthquakes kill.
Yeah, 2 Earthquakes, maybe a knockoff coming here just in case.
If I'm Gypsy, I'm not seeing the knockoff being the Z move and not picking up the Twit KO, so I think 2 Earthquake is the safest play here, and if the Bronzong come in, I think he can readjust from that, so I think his Z move or Earthquake.
Decidueye is at low health as well, and Decidueye probably won't do much for the rest of the game. Maybe get 1 Spirit Shackle off on the Bronzong after.
Yeah, that's pretty much what's going to happen.
Yeah. But nonetheless,
I think
looks like Suicune's just going to clean up this game late.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of preventing this Mew from getting dangerous, which I think Gypsy's in a position to do.
Yeah, I think so as well. But I think the Z move here is coming, or the Earthquake is coming. Trevor does make the switch into Bronzong. He goes for knockoff, and he picks up the kill on the Bronzong. So is it Choice Banded?
It could potentially be Choice Banded.
I know Lando has a lot of attack. Okay, so Trevor safely, like pretty confidently goes into the rare, so maybe it is banded, and he calced that and we didn't, so not fearing the Z move at all here. So maybe it is banded.
It could potentially be banded. But nonetheless, if Gypsy's... I almost called it Tornadus and Thunderous, both of which are incorrect. If Gypsy's Landorus is indeed Z-Fly right here, that's going to do a serious chunk to the Beware, enough to kill it easily, and 2 Earthquakes will clean up the game from the Mew. But if it is Choice Band locked into the knockoff, Gypsy has 2 very clean sacks in the form of Decidueye and Shuckle.
I think the Lando comes out here. I don't think he can risk it. Even if it's Z-Fly, maybe it's something I keep for the Mew for a massive amount of damage if it starts setting up. Because we saw the Calm Mind, and a Z-Fly or a Z-Earthquake would still do a crap ton to this Mew. So yeah, if I'm Gypsy, I'm preserving this Landorus 100% to get 1 big hit off on Mew before it kills. The Mew kills the Landorus, and you come in with something else to revenge.
If it is Choice Banded, I think you can sack off Decidueye or Shuckle here, and then lock yourself into Earthquake freely. Even if a Choice Banded Earthquake doesn't kill the Mew, I think at that point either Decidueye or Suicune will be able
Suicune can finish the game, yeah.
So I think the play, in my opinion right here, would be to sack Shuckle, and then go right back into Landorus. This is assuming that Landorus is Choice Banded, like we assume. But, it's wrong to assume. But we are on turn 23 here. Gypsy has come off with a pretty commanding lead, being 4-2. Just in case you need to be reminded, Mew is not dead. That's a showdown glitch. Mew and Beware are very much still alive. And yes, Gypsy
and he sacks the
exactly
Shuckle.
That and goes right into the Shuckle, as Trevor makes a play and goes into
Makes it double. Wow, okay. That's interesting. I think Gypsy has to click Encore here 100%. There's no other play than clicking knockoff, because the Mew either kills the Shuckle or sets up or roost. So I think clicking Encore, he does click Encore in the heartbeat, and yeah, Trevor just just does kill the Shuckle here. So the Shuckle did die, but did a lot of work. Those sticky webs, those rocks, are really affecting Trevor's team, and getting the clutch encore on the previous Mew come in.
Shuckle may not be getting a kill this game, but it has gotten kills in our hearts. So, interesting decision for Gypsy to bring back in the Landorus after Mew has just revealed the Ice Beam. I think that this is... it's clearly an offensive Landorus.
It's extremely offensive. It's either Bandit or Z-move.
I don't know what kind of offensive Landorus. But if it is Choice Bandit, I think you can lock yourself into Earthquake pretty freely here and win the game.
Exactly.
Even if Earthquake isn't enough to pick up the kill here, which I imagine it would be if it were Bandit, and then kill the Beware on the subsequent turn. Either way, you lose your Landorus to an Ice Beam, and you can go into Decidueye here, click Spirit Shackle, get some damage off on this Mew. Obviously, Beware comes in, you get a big Leaf Blade off on that, and I think Suicune wins the game no matter what.
Yeah, agreed.
So this will definitely be an interesting turn of events, but it's looking pretty grim for Trevor here. Gypsy up 3-2, very late on turn 25. Landorus, it's a mystery what kind of set it is, but we imagine it's definitely offensive. I imagine that doesn't look like bandit damage. I think.
That didn't do anything.
So yeah,
maybe he's keeping the Z move. Maybe he's scarfed.
It could potentially be scarfed.
Maybe he's keeping. What does Trevor have on this team to make? Yeah, he has Infernape, I guess.
But I mean, if you bring in webs.
Yeah, Scarf with webs would be really interesting. Maybe it's Z-move and he's trying to keep it for the Beware, but even then. But good play from Trevor to Roost here, like just solid play. Recognizing his win condition, trying to not die to the Landorus.
Yeah. But no matter what, Mew is going to be able to shrug off these Earthquakes and eventually Roost stall out this Landorus. So it's a matter of, does Gypsy want to switch out and win this game easier, eventually wait for a crit, or just wait for Trevor to run out of Roosts?
Pretty much.
Yeah, because it's doing a clean 40% to Mew every time, which means Mew is not ever going to be in a position where it can comfortably click Ice Beam, especially since Landorus outspeeds it. So at this point, Trevor's literally just going to be clicking Roost. But Gypsy does make the play out into Suicune the first time Suicune has hit the field. On the bright side for Trevor, Mew is back up to 100% health. Do you think that this could potentially change how the game plays out?
I think his way out is for Trevor to have a Psy Shock here and win the Calm Mind War, and for Gypsy to not have Roar on his Suicune. And we see the Z move from Trevor's part, the Gigavolt Havoc. That's really nice.
That does 40% to a +1 Spit F Suicune, and
we kind of figured that off. But the Suicune outspeeding the Mew in the train, and not in the train, with the sticky webs, meaning that the Mew is really not speed invested. So yeah, we have a Calm Mind War here, and I don't think after that the Suicune has Roar, so it's going to be interesting to see. They're both burned now, so now they're just basically clicking buttons at this point and hoping for a crit.
I think it's a matter of time. I think Trevor will probably eventually get up to +6. Suicune will probably drop to this Mew, and then I think Decidueye comes in and clicks Spirit Shackle.
Yeah. Now that he knows that it's a more slower Mew.
Yeah. So I think the way Trevor wins this game is Mew has to live a Spirit Shackle, and Ice Beam has to kill Decidueye, which it very easily will, because Decidueye I think is at like 24% health, which will be at 12 after rocks. So this could potentially be an interesting matchup, but basically this Suicune's not going to be able to break through this Mew. With Mew having Bolt Beam coverage, he has the potential to win this game as soon as the Suicune drops.
It's going to take a crit, because with pressure, the Mew will be PP stalled easily if Gypsy has a recovery move like Crest. We just saw the Calm Mind and the Scald, maybe Rest Talk at the end, or
potentially
as the last move, or Toxic or something like that. But
I think if he had Toxic, he would have clicked it before clicking.
Yeah, probably. So I'm expecting a Rest Sleep Talk. However, he didn't click Rest.
Yeah, he clearly doesn't have Roar because he hasn't clicked it yet.
So yeah, Trevor's really going to need a crit here, because he's going to get stalled out of Thunderbolt before the Suicune dies.
Yeah. I think Trevor's going to need to keep his Mew as healthy as possible, and I think that Gypsy knows
did a decent amount, so Gypsy has to go for Rest here if he hasn't.
Yeah, Gypsy has rest here. Trevor knows that he has to keep his Mew at an optimal health, though. Otherwise, it has a 0 chance of taking the Spirit Shackle here. So perhaps Gypsy doesn't carry the rest.
He doesn't have rest, yeah.
So it comes down to this. Mew is going to be able to take out the Suicune, and if Mew can live a Spirit Shackle... Oh, he actually decides to go into the Landorus here. Interesting.
That's a very interesting... Oh my god! That's a very interesting... Oh my god!
That's a very interesting...
Nicely done.
Way.
Nicely done.
My Lord.
Nice. Oh,
that's insane.
10 out of 10.
Oh my god. Gypsy is a lord.
I don't think Trevor could have seen that coming. I definitely would not have seen that coming.
That's why
I think this reveal. I think Gypsy's Choice Banded.
Maybe it is.
I think
Maybe
Gypsy locks himself into Earthquake and wins the game here. Yeah.
Oh,
all right. Wow. A very good game coming on turn 43 with Gypsy beating Trevor 1-0. I gotta say, GG. That was nuts.
Great game, Trevor. Though we brought it back. Like we really thought he was so behind, and you set it up his Mew at the right time. Was able to scout the EQ damage on his Mew, knowing that it does 40%. He could stall him out. Just decided to set up on the Suicune that didn't have any recovery. So really shout out to Trevor for, setting up at the right time, recognizing his win condition and just trying to go for it. But Gypsy had the tech. He had the tech.
I think if Mew was able to live the Spirit Shackle, which I don't know if it would have at that low amount of health. It was at like what? It was between like 60 and 70, I think. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, we can check it.
But if Trevor was able to live the Spirit Shackle at that point, Trevor might have won.
Yeah, because it's still at 69% of health, so that's a decent amount for an EQ that did 40%. So and a Calm Mindset, we can pretty much assume that it was heavily defensively invested. But yeah, what a tech by Gypsy here.
Yeah, interesting play. Definitely very well played on both players' parts. With Gypsy's prep carrying punishment on his Landorus, ultimately winning it, not necessarily winning him the game, but making this game a lot easier for Gypsy.
Yeah, agreed.
Punishing Trevor for setting up the +6/+6 Calm Mind. Definitely going to be an interesting final because we have a matchup for the ITL Season 5 Finals going on between GypsyKing and the Sydney Sharpedos. I almost said San Jose Sharpedos. Wrong team. The Sydney Sharpedos will be taking on the Blackmont Rye Cougars and their coach Scoot for the ITL Season 5 Championship. Interesting.
And Scoot is actually the only one to have beaten Gypsy in the regular season. That's going to be a very interesting.
Gypsy finished 12-1 this season in the ITL. His only loss coming from Scoot in week 9-ish. I don't know.
Around that.
Shot in the dark. So this will definitely be a good game. I'm still kind of in shock. Punishment Landorus is cool.
Yeah, that tag on the Landorus was insane. I'm still not over that yet.
All right, that's going to be it for this video. If you guys did enjoy, a like and a subscription would be much appreciated. Gypsy and Trevor will be down in the description below. So will Sébastien. Make sure you guys go check out their YouTube channels. Trevor, the Pokemon tuber. That's a joke, guys.
Nice Pokemon content.
Right? No, but definitely make sure you guys go check out their content. If you haven't seen Gypsy's content and you're seeing this content, you're probably doing something wrong. So I'd go ahead and fix that as soon as possible. But anyways, this is going to be Sébastien and Eric signing off from this ITL semifinals match.
Goodbye.